Hello everyone and welcome to the 2018 PDGA Pro Masters presented by Dynamic Discs. This is the final 9 where we will crown our champion in the FP40 division. Dave Feldberg has a commanding lead. He's held on to it for the last few rounds, but he's got some very tough competitors, some of the winningest players in all of disc golf. JohnE McCray, Barry Schultz, Mike Moser, all with over 200 wins to their name. So Dave certainly got some competition. There's your list of other finalists. And here we are, ready to go on hole number 1 of the final 9. This is actually hole number 12, and they've shortened this hole, I think simply for a gallery slash playability perspective. And even with it in the short position, we still see the roller as the optimum route. And Barry Schultz throwing a mid-range roller. I'm guessing that's a rock. Enthusiastic crowd ready to go. I believe it's about 2:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday. And that branch certainly kept McCray from getting all the way to the pin. It looked like he was otherwise right on target. And Mike Moser joins the card. Mike having the hot round during the semifinals. He actually edged out Brian Schweberger. And now we see Mike joining the card for the first time this weekend. Looks like he had a little distraction in the background, he said. I'm not going to call you out, Shasta Chris, for walking around taking pictures back there. And Feldberg has this for birdie to get the finals started, and it's going to be tough to catch him when you've got a 4-stroke lead and then you immediately open up with a solid birdie. And now there's just 8 holes left to play. Schultz will card a birdie of his own, keeping pace with Feldberg in the finals, but still, again, 4 strokes behind. Moser and McCray are going to have to settle for their pars. We're going to have to see one of a few epic or colossal things happen, either an epic meltdown or some unbelievable play by one of these competitors if they're going to go ahead and overcome that 4-stroke deficit in this MP40 division. Barry Schultz putting himself up there. JohnE McCray looks to be peering the gap, and you don't see it come all the way back into frame, but he's going to have a good look for birdie from there. Moser also keeps it clean here on hole number 2, which is regular hole 13. Feldberg short, and you just really want to not only come in flat, but you also want to absolutely stay away from hitting any metal, otherwise it could get up and roll. There's also a rock right there behind the basket, and I feel like that could pop your disc up and get it to roll. And McCray aggressively runs at it, hits metal, and he'll be looking at 20-25 feet. Schultz with the uphill putt for birdie. Oh, and the light splash out on that left side. Yeah, he heard a distraction off in the background. I believe the FP40 division final 9 was taking place. That was off on the background, and also we saw in the previous round there's a lot of acorns and nuts and squirrels running around, and believe it or not, sometimes they're quite distracting out here. And a few tap-ins, nothing too exciting. No one's making any moves when everybody pars. We're going to head off to hole number 14. 2 holes down, 7 to go. Many would argue 14 being a signature hole out here. Hole 1's gorgeous, 14 is gorgeous. There's so many great holes, but this has to be one of my favorites. And Barry switches up his disc. The previous 2 times I've seen him throw this, I believe it was with a orangish fairway driver. This time he switches it up. JohnE McCray showing a little love for some friends. If you're out there watching, you know what that means. That's for you. And Johnny's playing the flex shot. And we haven't seen too many people get close to the pin in the last 2 rounds on this hole. And that's all about to change. JohnE McCray inside 20 feet, but still comes up short of the road. As we were walking down the fairway, I said, I think you should throw that disc every time on this hole, because that is the closest we've seen him in the last 3 days. And the one thing you just don't want to do here is go long and go OB. This is kind of one of those holes. Either you drive the pin or you lay up. Or you don't quite drive the pin and you still run at it because you're in 4th place and you really have nothing to lose. So you go for it, and then when it goes out of bounds, you don't really sweat it. Schultz also giving it a run, but stays inbounds. McCray with the birdie. Very impressive. Now McCray is going to give Moser a spot, and he'll tap in for the bogey 4. Really, he can play with no regard if he wants. All he can do is move up in positions, of course, as he sits in the final 4. Dave making sure he knows the mini just slightly slid. Dave doesn't want to risk anything as we're trying to bring this home here. What would be Dave's 2nd world title if he can complete the task. Jenny and Johnny moving on to the next hole. Shout out to Jenny. Positive spirit out there. Caddying. Working just as hard as Johnny throughout the week. Hustling up and down those hills, carrying the heavy bag. We move over to what is normally hole 17, and this is the 1 par 4 that we're going to see during the finals. And that's pretty much the play. I can't really describe it any better. You really want to do what Dave just did right there. Of course, the OB road on the right is something you want to steer clear of. And if you're up on that left side, you may have some awkward footing depending on exactly where you land. There is the mandatory that you have to go left of that tree, as you just saw everyone do. That's also a pretty good looking position there for Moser. And JohnE McCray taking the skinny route, just missing that tree.
Good gap, John.
Moser says, good gap. And Schultz says that lifted on him. He wasn't planning on that. Now, as you're about to see this, just like Schultz a moment ago, you're walking downhill while trying to throw uphill. And that's actually a pretty tough shot. You see Dave's is a little bit flatter. And he happens to be dialed in. So Dave making quick and easy work there. I believe that's within a few feet of the pin. And both Moser and Schultz able to give it an aggressive run uphill. This is McCray for his birdie. And I love seeing the aggressive play. Again, these guys, you really have a mentality of first place or nothing here. Schultz and Feldberg have won world championships, of course. Moser and McCray both with 200 or so wins. I think Moser has about 230 specifically. If you haven't seen him too much on video, he's out on the East Coast primarily. Obviously a legend of the game with more than 200 wins. And some really simple cleanups, some pars here. And Feldberg is going to extend his lead with that tap-in birdie. He now has 5 strokes with 5 holes left to play. I hustle over here to the catch cam. Found out in the 4th round that was a good spot. Not so much behind the tee during the semifinals, so here I am on the catch. And McCray's shot's coming in, and that's going to put him down and left. I think a squirrel pressed my record button and turned it off on that one. That's also going to be short. And if you can stay clean here, that's really your only way to get all the way up to the basket. You have to keep this one perfectly clean. It's a hyzer through a bunch of trees, and you saw very little foliage hit. Calm but warm Saturday afternoon, good gallery. We're in Kansas City enjoying the action. Dave Feldberg says, I'm not messing around with these hillsides anymore. I just need the par. Yeah, solid putt by McCray. 312 on this hole, but definitely plays probably closer to 350, if not more. Shout out again for McCray as the rest of the group's stepping up to take their pars. We're going to head over to hole number 1 in a moment. Danny Lindahl of Dynamic Discs helping me out throughout the weekend. Not only is DD a supporter and presenting sponsor of the event, but also helped with extra coverage so that I could bring you all the videos that I did on the Disc Golf Guide channel. So thank you to Dynamic Discs along with the PDGA. Take a quick look at the scores. So Dave's 4-stroke lead, and here's Danny.
I'm Danny from Dynamic Discs here at hole 1 at Waterworks Park in Kansas City, Missouri. This hole is 500 feet way downhill with a hill fading left at the end. And for this shot, I really like my getaway. The Fusion getaway I can throw flat at the trees on the left. It's going to have a little bit of turn to move to the right, but it's still got that dependable fade at the end. And with the glide, the distance isn't going to be a problem. So if you're looking for that shot, check out a getaway.
Thank you, Danny, and Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, along with all of Dynamic Discs. In the semifinal round earlier in the morning, Johnny buzzed the basket, and I don't know how neither of his shots had gone in. That one is actually way past the basket, as was his semifinal morning shot. Feldberg trying to get in on some ace action. And Schultz gets caught up by the tree on that right side. The iconic hole 1 at Waterworks. Just before he threw, Mike Moser said, all right, and time for something a little different. Referencing the roller shot as opposed to the 3 previous air shots. And Schultz with a misfire. You see there's not much wind to speak of. There's a gentle breeze right now. Moser's got an uphill approach. This is Feldberg from past the basket on this 508-footer. Again, playing for par, perfectly fine. Johnny also past the basket off the front of the cage. He's not going to pick up any ground. Schultz to save the 3. I saw Barry miss a putt on hole 6 for birdie during Friday's round. And that was, I think, literally the only putt around the circle or inside of it that I think I saw him miss. So, good putting all week. That one just short. And he actually walks away with the bogey here. Interestingly enough, when I grabbed the scores from the PDGA live scoring, it's got him listed for the par. I went along with it. I didn't take a picture of the actual scorecard, but it's got him listed for the par. We'll see if that matters as things shake out a little later. Either way, McCray still has 4 strokes, and what I believe would be 5 or 6 strokes is the deficit from Schultz to Feldberg. Another park job from McCray. He struggled. He took a double bogey on this on round number 4 on Friday, and then came back with birdies during the semifinal round and what looks to be the finals.
I swear I don't get it.
Moser says, I swear I don't get it. You could just take the Schultz route, which is exactly what he's trying to do. Barry now 3 for 3 in parking this one, going with the gentle hyzer. Something to take home from that. And impossible to catch the leader when he's birdieing. Feldberg on cruise control to win his first ever PDGA Pro Masters World title. Of course, taking down the MPO title in 2008 in his home state of Michigan. And Feldberg looking to add to his resume. Here's McCray for birdie. So everybody's in but Moser. Hole 8, which is otherwise known as hole 9 if you're playing the course. They have just holes 9 and 10 to play of the regular course. Before we wrap this up, Schultz with the low line drive, looking to play the skip. No big deal. That's a park job for Schultz. Does that have enough in it? The rock stopped an extra 2 or 3 feet, but not sure he had enough power on that one to get all the way to the pin. McCray's lunging jump putt short. Dave doesn't need anything to mess around with. Off the top of the basket for Moser. He said, I wish I would just throw one good shot. Not having the best finals. Barry Schultz will walk up to his putt, and that's a tap-in birdie. I'll card it here on the video. However, on the PDGA live scoring after the fact, it shows that he took a par. So earlier he took a bogey and it was listed as a par, and now he took a birdie that's listed as a par. So it all evens out at the end of the day, and that's why PDGA live scoring is unofficial. I did not snap a photo of this actual scorecard, which I'm hoping had it correctly listed, but either way, it's all going to shake out with the right scores, and Dave Feldberg ready to bring this one home. This hole at 354 plays every bit of 400. I've watched JohnE McCray put it up right next to the pin, top left side, twice in a row. And the gallery likes that effort. That one's not going to be left of the pin. This time it'll be right of the pin, but I'm guessing he's inside 25 feet. Feldberg, good safe shot. And I like the line by Moser, but just not enough power. As we start to wrap things up, I want to thank you guys for tuning in all week long, watching the PDGA Pro Masters presented by Dynamic Discs, watching the coverage. Thank you for the support, and thank you to all these incredible players, these icons and legends of the game. It's just been truly an incredible week, and it was an honor to be here to film this, along with some of the people I've looked up to and revered for many years. And JohnE McCray finishing with the birdie. Rowdy crowd getting into it. I like it. Moser finishes 4th here at the Worlds. And Barry Schultz with a few Masters and Worlds titles to his names. Here's Dave Feldberg. Oh, wow. I'll catch up with Dave. Congratulations. Here's an interview with him. Again, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you to Dynamic Discs.
World Champion!
Thank you to Scott Reek as Dave hugs his pregnant wife, Cynthia. Congratulations and congrats to all the champs.
All right, I'm the disc golf guy, and joining me now is our 2018 MP40 champion, Dave Feldberg. Dave, 10 years ago, you took home your first world title. Here we are. How does it feel this time?
You know, it feels almost as good. I mean, like I still got the chills from making the last shot, and it's a long road, you know, lots of injuries, and we're having a baby, and I feel like this is my last dance. So.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. You win the Worlds, you have an announcement about a child on the way. How does 2018 or any other year follow this one?
Well, you know, we're going to be gifted with a child, and that's, you know, the best feeling you can have, and I want to be committed to that and committed to her so we can have a great family, and I figure this is my last dance, so I'll be at the Worlds, but I won't be as committed.
Well, speaking of the Worlds, you were around some of the greatest of all time this weekend. Competitors like Barry Schultz, JohnE McCray, Mike Moser, some of the best in the game. Schwebby, who was there all week along with you. What does it feel to be in that class with those gentlemen all week?
You know, it was it felt like history. You know, you got to think, I played my AM Worlds here. Then I had my first NT win here. You know, and it was over Barry Schultz. So, you know, coming down the stretch, I knew he was going to make the run. You know, and he was making a strong run throughout the day. You know, and JohnE McCray, you can never, with JohnE McCray, it's just, the guy might birdie the hardest hole, he might, you know what I mean, it's hard to tell. And then Schwebby, I felt bad, he got injured, but he pushed me all week. It was like old times.
Well, you came out here, we know that you struggled on the first hole of Waterworks for 2 consecutive rounds, but then you came out here and you had a sizable lead. How was your comfort level going into this final 9?
It was pretty comfort, as I said to Potts and my lady, I said, no one beat me by 509 holes during the tournament. Why should I feel like I'm going to lose 5 and 9? You know, and I'll tell you, when we got the hole 1 and Johnny parked it, you know what I reached him through? My JohnE McCray signature disc. So I figured, you know, that would give me some good luck, and it did.
All right. Well, anything you'd like to say to the world out there that's been watching along?
You know, when you got your goals set, you can accomplish anything you want. And I want to say thanks to my sponsor, Latitude 64, best disc maker in the world. See you guys in Sweden sometime, and Next Generation Tour. Be the next generation of me. You can be a champion. Thanks.
All right, that's Dave Feldberg, your 2018 MP40 World Champion, Dave Feldberg.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.